This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Karoline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And, you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
A few days ago, we showed you the fiery clash between the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, and Whoopi Goldberg. But what we didn't have time to break down? The jaw-dropping details and the internet's wild reaction. Buckle up, because what you're about to see will leave you stunned. And hey, if you don't want to miss moments like this, hit that subscribe button. Now you already know how the woke squad operates. The moment Leavitt outsmarted their self-appointed queen, Whoopi Goldberg, they did what they do best, lost their minds and went straight for the low blows. Instead of debating her points, they went after her personally. And this time, they sunk even lower. Instead of challenging her facts or professionalism, they dragged her into some outdated 1950s-style attack. Their genius response to seeing Goldberg get verbally bodied on national TV? Why is a mother of a 7-month-old even working? Yes, you heard that right. The same people who scream, "Women can do it all," suddenly switched gears, deciding this working mom needed to stay home. So, let's get this straight. If you embarrass a daytime talk show host, you're supposed to go home, bake cookies, and reflect on your so-called mistake? The hypocrisy is unreal. Self-awareness, completely missing in action. Just like that, Karoline Leavitt shuts down the woke outrage, effortlessly like swatting a fly with a sledgehammer. She lays out what should be common sense. A woman can balance motherhood and a career without sacrificing one for the other. Shocking concept, right? Somebody call the think tanks. But here's where Leavitt really flips the script. She doesn't just defend working moms, she openly embraces traditional values, admitting that juggling both roles isn't for everyone. That's right, a woman daring to say, hey, my lifestyle isn't one size fits all. And unlike the left's "you must have it all" or "you failed feminism" mindset, Leavitt takes a more grounded approach. She actually respects women who choose full-time motherhood, reminding everyone that raising the next generation is just as valuable as climbing the corporate ladder. Imagine that. Basic respect instead of condescension. But here's the kicker. Leavitt doesn't just win the debate. She exposes the left's hypocrisy for what it really is. Fake empowerment with a side of mom-shaming. And just when you think they couldn't sink any lower, they do? Get this. The same people who claim to be the champions of facts and logic have officially ditched their science is real yard signs and gone full tinfoil hat mode. Their latest brilliant conspiracy theory? Elon Musk, yes, the guy busy launching rockets and revolutionizing technology, is secretly plotting to take down Trump by pushing him down the stairs. Yes, folks, this is where we are. Full-blown, low-budget conspiracy nonsense you'd expect from a guy yelling on a street corner with a cardboard sign. Absolute madness. Yes, really. Because nothing screams billionaire master plan like schoolyard antics. And who's leading this brilliant intellectual movement? None other than The View's finest. The daytime talk show crew who somehow believe their coffee table doubles as a congressional hearing room. Why? Simple. Karoline Leavitt embarrassed their queen bee, and they needed payback. But instead of taking her on directly, they set their sights on the bigger targets. Leavitt's boss, Donald Trump, and his ally, Elon Musk. It's like watching satire unfold in real time. But Leavitt? She wasn't about to let that ridiculousness slide. She clapped back hard, tearing apart the nonsense and leaving the conspiracy crowd scrambling for their next half-baked theory. And just when you thought Whoopi Goldberg would let it go, nope. She mustered up the courage for another swing at Leavitt, though not directly, of course. Even she knows what happens when you take Leavitt on head-to-head. So instead of a direct confrontation, she took the coward's route. She went after Trump. And that's when she did the unthinkable. Right there, on national television, Whoopi Goldberg spat after saying Trump's name, like some cartoon villain choking on their own defeat. classy, right? Because nothing says intellectual rebuttal like spitting on live TV. But guess what? Leavitt wasn't about to let that slide. She fired back with the precision of a surgeon and the force of a freight train. McGean being so triggered by one man's name that you start spitting like a toddler refusing broccoli. It's beyond embarrassing. It's a full-blown meltdown. And Whoopi? She didn't even realize how bad she made herself look. But Karoline Leavitt did, and she wasted no time calling out the hypocrisy. These are the same people who never shut up about civility and respect. Yet here they are, turning ABC into a slapstick comedy show. By the time Leavitt was done, Goldberg's so-called bold statement didn't look like defiance. It looked like pure desperation. And the internet? Oh, they noticed. Memes flooded in faster than the views producers could cut to commercial. The tide had turned, and people were rallying behind Leavitt. One person on social media put it bluntly, "These women are gonna have to hide at some point. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking down the street if I were any of them." Another pointed out that Goldberg didn't just insult Trump, she spat in the face of every American who voted for him. "She just disrespected half the country on live TV," one user wrote. Others had a different theory. Maybe Whoopi's little stunt was just that, a stunt. A desperate move to boost the views ratings. Someone even suggested, she's just putting on an act at this point. Anything for views. Now, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but let's take a step back. Did Karoline Leavitt just expose the entire legacy media and the anti-Trump crowd in one fell swoop? Because this moment, it's pure gold. Think about it. These are the same people who have pounced on Leavitt at every opportunity. And yet, in the end, she didn't just survive their attacks, she flipped the script entirely. From questioning her credentials to mom-shaming her, woke journalists have practically turned dragging Karoline Leavitt into a side hustle. If she so much as breathes the wrong way, there's an op-ed tearing her apart within the hour. But here's where it gets real interesting. Off camera, away from their performative outrage and blue-check bravado, these same critics are reportedly sneaking into Leavitt's office to congratulate her. Yes, you heard that right. Privately, they're thanking her for the media access they couldn't get under Biden's press team. So let's get this straight. Publicly, they paint her as some right-wing villain. Privately, it's all smiles, handshakes, and whispers of, "Hey, thanks for actually doing your job. You cannot make this stuff up." But honestly, should anyone be surprised? Hypocrisy isn't just a problem. It's practically a job requirement at this point. And it's not just The View. The entire media machine plays this game, pretending to fight the so-called villain while secretly cutting deals behind closed doors. And Leavitt? She's standing there, receipts in hand, watching the whole charade fall apart. And just like that, boom. Right after her verbal smackdown with Whoopi Goldberg, Leavitt barely has time to catch her breath before another woke journalist swoops in, ready to set the record straight. But were they actually concerned about the real issue Leavitt just exposed? Yeah, right. You know the glaring fraud sitting there like a neon sign? Yeah, they completely ignored it. Because addressing actual corruption would require critical thinking, and we can't have that. Instead, they locked in on nitpicking Leavitt, like a hall monitor on a power trip. It's almost like these people are reading from the same playbook. Step 1, ignore the scandal. Step 2, attack the whistleblower. Step 3, pat yourself on the back for saving democracy. But Leavitt? She wasn't about to roll over. She fired back with that same calm, razor-sharp precision that turns clips into viral gold. "Oh, I'm sorry," she quipped. "I didn't realize exposing corruption was less important than satisfying your fact-checking fetish." And here's the best part. The journalist, clearly rattled, doubled down. Because when you're losing, why not dig yourself deeper into a hole? They kept nitpicking words, obsessing over technicalities while completely ignoring the massive tap-dancing elephant in the room. By the time Leavitt was done, it wasn't just a debate. It was a demolition. The journalists didn't walk away looking like a truth seeker. They looked like an unpaid PR rep for the very fraud Leavitt exposed. And that got me thinking, How does Leavitt always seem so prepared? She never stumbles, never scrambles. She has her finger on the pulse of every issue. And that right there? That's the secret behind Leavitt's devastatingly fast answers. She's not reading from a script, not filtering her words through some woke-approved lens. Plain and simple, unlike her critics, who need a focus group, a PR consultant, and a thesaurus just to craft the perfect, inclusive yet outraged soundbite, Leavitt skips the theatrics and goes straight for the truth. No hypocrisy, no spin. Just raw, unfiltered reality, the kind that hits harder than their recycled talking points. While the left is busy twisting themselves into mental pretzels to avoid offending their own echo chamber, Karoline Leavitt is out here saying what everyone else is thinking. And the best part? She doesn't just talk. She backs it up with facts, receipts, and the kind of confidence that leaves her critics blinking like deer in headlights. It's almost unfair. While the woke brigade is busy crafting the perfect insult thread on X, formerly Twitter, for those still pretending it's 2016, Leavitt is already 5 steps ahead, dismantling their arguments before they even hit post. In a world drowning in virtue signaling and performative outrage, Leavitt's authenticity isn't just refreshing, it's dangerous for those whose entire platform relies on smoke, mirrors, and selective outrage. So when Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg reduce an obviously intelligent, composed, and capable woman like Leavitt to just her looks, it's not just disingenuous, it's downright embarrassing. At this point, it's looking less like offense and more like jealousy. Jealous of her intelligence, jealous of her composure, and most of all, jealous of her meteoric rise to success. Let's be real. Leavitt has climbed higher in a few years than they have after decades of shouting into the void. And when jealousy kicks in, logic checks out. So what's their strategy? Say anything. No matter how ridiculous, petty, or blatantly hypocritical, just tear her down by any means necessary. It's like watching High School Mean Girls, but with worse takes and a bigger production budget. And here's the thing, they can't attack her record because it's solid. They can't challenge her arguments because she tears them apart like a pro. So what do? Resort to the oldest trick in the woke playbook, character assassination. Oh, she's only successful because of Trump, they whine, conveniently ignoring the fact that Leavitt was already making waves long before stepping into the White House press room. They're abandoning their baby for their career, they cry, as if they'd ever say the same about a liberal mom juggling work and home life. The hypocrisy is laughable. But here's the thing. The more they flail, the more obvious it gets. This isn't about politics anymore. This is envy. Leavitt is winning the culture war by simply existing. And the more successful she becomes, the louder the tantrums get. No one makes this clearer than Michael Knoll. Because, let's be real, Karoline Leavitt isn't just running circles around her critics because she's smart. Which, let's be honest, she definitely is. It's not just book smarts. It's not just sharp comebacks. This woman has real experience. Remember her congressional run? She wasn't some symbolic Gen Z candidate fishing for retweets. She won the Republican primary, bulldozing through her opponents like a freight train with no brakes. Among those left in the dust? Matt Mowers, a former Trump administration official who was supposed to be the frontrunner. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. And while Leavitt ultimately lost to Democrat incumbent Chris Pappas, it wasn't some humiliating landslide defeat. She gave the establishment a serious scare, proving she wasn't just another talking head. She was a fighter. That campaign wasn't just a resume booster. It was her crash course in real-world politics. The kind of real experience that woke pundits pretend to understand while sipping lattes and crafting their next so-called fact check. So when Leavitt steps up to the podium and fires off those sharp, devastating responses, it's not just youthful confidence, it's the honed skill of someone who's been in the trenches, taken hits, and come out tougher. No wonder the left can't stand her. She's everything they claim to champion but secretly fear. Smart, resilient, and actually effective. And as we've already pointed out, the ladies of The View aren't just annoyed by Karoline Leavitt. They're jealous. And who could blame them? While they sit on daytime TV, recycling the same tired talking points and talking trash, Leavitt is out here working for the most powerful man on Earth. Let that sink in. They're complaining from a cushy studio couch, while Leavitt is shaping narratives from inside the White House. It's not just a difference in job titles, it's a difference in relevance. And here's the kicker. They know they can't match her intellect, composure, or political skill. That's why every time they try to go toe-to-toe with her, it ends the same way. Leavitt wiping the floor with them, armed with nothing but facts and a killer smile. Whoopi and her crew throw tantrums, Leavitt throws receipts, they peddle outrage, she drops truth bombs. It's like watching a professional fighter spar with armchair critics. The jealousy isn't just obvious, it's palpable. Because deep down, they know that if they ever had to trade places with Leavitt, they wouldn't last 5 minutes in her shoes. And that's exactly why Whoopi Goldberg wouldn't dare step into a real face-off with Leavitt. At this point, it's like watching a world-class chef school someone who just figured out how to boil water. It's not just about losing, it's about getting obliterated in front of millions. Whoopi might be loud, but volume doesn't equal victory. Leavitt plays chess while Goldberg fumbles through checkers, with missing pieces. Every insult Whoopi throws comes boomeranging right back, sharper, stronger, and wrapped in a polite little bless your heart. Deep down, Whoopi knows the truth. She can grandstand all she wants from the safety of The View's echo chamber, but in a real debate, it'd be a KO before the first commercial break. And on that note, we're wrapping things up. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more sharp takes on trending political moments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Your support keeps us bringing you the real stories, unedited and unfiltered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.